All right, welcome into another edition of the Patriots training camp cast, I should say, Paul. And today I felt like Gerard Mayo spoke before practice, kind of felt like he challenged the defense a little bit. He said, the offense has had a good couple of days. We talked about it on yesterday's wrap-up show, and it felt today a little more evenly matched, but probably a little bit more towards the defense. No question, the offense had some moments, but overall I would say defense played a little bit more solid today, made things harder on the offenses.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. That said, I still think the quarterbacks, both Brissett and May, threw the ball pretty well. I thought, I thought there were some plays to be made, and sometimes the receivers made them, sometimes they didn't. But I would agree with you overall. Coverage was much better today. You didn't see guys running free.
Yeah, Tamara, who stood out to you today?
Yeah, I liked how Mayo opened up and said, the offense responded well to the heat yesterday, but the defense, like he said historically 2 days ago, that the defense usually has a head start in camp. Jabril Peppers yesterday, your guy Mike, he said, I liked the way we compete yesterday, but as a defender, they made too many plays. So I think today I liked Hearn and I liked Hawkins. I think both of them had great days, a couple pass breakups, which were questionable because I thought the wide receivers had a lot of drops today.
They did.
A lot of drops today.
And we've talked about the sloppiness in camp, and I think I saw maybe one pre-snap thing where it was a rehuddle, but there were a number of drops today.
Yeah, and there were false starts again. There were situations where I think the time management, because you're starting to see a little bit more of the 2-minute. Hunter Henry talked about it after practice. They're starting to get a lot of that situational stuff involved in the practices. And probably the best play for Hunter Henry, the best play for the team today was a last-second diving touchdown catch by Henry, who I thought, by the way, was very good in this practice. Yeah. But I thought it may have been after the time had expired. So that's the kind of situational stuff. The play before that with the clock running is a short throw on the sideline. Didn't really get him all that much closer to the end zone. Didn't get out of bounds and really created a sort of hectic final play. Maybe they got the play off in time. Brissett did a nice job of just floating one to an area and allowing his tight end to go and make a play, diving catch by Henry.
Yeah, you mentioned it was situational. From my vantage point, I looked up at the clock, 2 seconds left, clock running, looked back, beat. Couldn't tell for sure if they got it off. But another session I just wanted to quickly mention was I thought, Drake May's best period of the day, which was red zone 7-on-7. You had a touchdown to Jalen Polk. You had 87, looked like he dropped a TD, and then an easy one to Baker. So, just some completions. And, again, it's 7-on-7. But I thought overall that was Drake's strongest period of the day, Tamara.
Was that the one where they ended in the 58-yard field goal? Maybe. I can't remember.
No.
Different one?
No, I think that was earlier, an earlier 11-on-11, but
okay.
Which was Joey Sly hit a 58.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I thought definitely Drake May was better in the 7-on-7s. I feel like when they were in the 2-minute kind of hurry up type of offense, there were a lot of mistakes, miscommunication, throwing the ball out of bounds, potentially sacks here and there. I thought that definitely sped him up a lot. Which, that's something we were wondering. In a real game-like setting, how is Drake May going to handle all the time that they spent working on his technique?
Yeah, I think it was so after the Hunter Henry touchdown, Drake May went in, didn't do much. A throwaway, missed Baker, missed 7, sack incomplete. I just wrote ick on the last play. Kind of bad.
The 2-minute drills after Brissett's, and Brissett's, I mean, to be fair, was kind of shaky.
Yep.
Even though it ended up in a touchdown. The other two series, it was May and then Joe Milton 4-and-out.
Yeah.
So they didn't really get the ball moving at all. But I do think, like I said, and I know there's been some sort of talk that we're not necessarily covering May the way we should. It's kid gloves. I mean, he made 3 or 4 throws today that I thought were pretty good throws that didn't get caught, and one of them was that one to Mitchell Wilcox that you're talking about. I mean, that was a tough throw in traffic down the seam in the end zone, tight windows down in the red zone, and Wilcox, who I actually think has been playing pretty well, has to make that catch for him. I thought there was another one on the 2-minute drill, a nice out route to Juju. He got his feet tangled up with the defensive back and ended up falling down. The pass was perfectly thrown, but it looks like one of those like, wow, where was he throwing that one? Because there was no one there to catch it. So I thought May threw the ball well at times, but to me the story of the day was the pressure from that front seven again was too much, and there were some guys out. No Chooks today.
Yep.
You had Vidarian Lowe staying at left tackle, Caden Wallace at right tackle. Those guys struggled. I thought Caden Wallace in particular struggled protecting the passer today.
Yeah, let's round out some of the personnel pieces today because there were, some new absences. You mentioned Chuks Okorafor, Calvin Anderson. Now, Okorafor was there. I think we saw him there, but just didn't participate.
Right.
But Calvin Anderson, who went down briefly yesterday with an ankle injury, got back up, re-entered the lineup. He was missing. Probably not the biggest.
He had a sleeve on the leg.
Yeah.
So my guess is he's dealing with something with his calf.
Taekwon Thornton
there you
is
go,
the biggest kind of just what are we doing here? Because I feel like it's the same thing with him. He has a great camp, and then he disappears. And we're just like, okay, what's going on here? So he did show up to practice a little bit into practice, but he wasn't dressed. He was just on the sidelines. So I'm hoping it's nothing serious because he's had a great couple of days. And so now it's like hopefully he's not taking a step backwards with potentially an injury.
It's the same thing we talk about, Paul, with these young receivers. It's, you got to stay out there. You got to be consistent. I mean, Polk Baker, those guys have been out there every day, at least as far as training camp.
Jalen Polk made some tough catches today. I don't know if any of them really counted because, one of them was in the back of the end zone. He was out of bounds. And then one of them was on a sideline on a quick diving catch on the sideline. They gave him credit for the catch. I thought he caught it, but two really good catches for Jalen Polk.
Strong hands with him. Marcus Jones, Josh Bledsoe continue to be out. They come out and watch. Again, put Marcus Jones with Taekwon Thornton. It's just disappointing for these young guys, especially guys that have been drafted in the past couple of years that have the traits that this team needs, the speed. Certainly with Marcus Jones, we've been excited to see him get a chance to this new kickoff. He's now out. So team will have a day off tomorrow, maybe a chance for them to get a little bit healthy. But with those two tackles out,
it'd be a bad sign if you didn't see Marcus Jones back on Monday.
Yeah.
But I would say, when guys leave the lineup, it gives opportunities. And I think Marcellus Dial has gotten some more reps, and he's got some competitiveness to him.
Yeah.
And
I think he's a guy that stands out to me almost every day.
When Paul brings up opportunities, I think this is an opportunity for Jalen Reagor to show why he's valuable, not just on offense, but on special teams. We've seen him in there a lot, returning those punts. So I think it's an opportunity for him to potentially make it because he can fill in for Marcus Jones.
Yeah, just one last guy I want to mention. I thought number 2, KJ Osborne. I think some good practices from him. Some nice catches today in the end zone. He's one receiver that, feels like he's coming on. I don't know for sure how he fits into the whole big picture. Is he an outside? He's probably not an outside guy, and I think that's really what they need, to make this offense truly functional and lethal is to have somebody who can get downfield. I know some people have been talking about Javon Baker, and I don't want to pump the brakes on him, but I think a lot of the buzz with him is coming from one-on-ones. In team periods, he's not very consistent. He has some moments. I know today Drake May threw one up. It didn't even look like he had any separation. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, double covered.
So between Taekwon Thornton, just some questions I would say remain kind of for the wide receivers.
Absolutely agree.
Cool. Well, we got a day off tomorrow, and then we'll be back at it next week as we build up to the Patriots' first preseason game. They'll welcome the Carolina Panthers. So stick with us through Monday and Tuesday. We'll be back with more Patriots Training Camp cast to keep you caught up on everything that's going down here at Patriots Training Camp.